Penn, last week you said that it didn't quite feel real until it started airing. So I'm just wondering if you could talk about how you feel now that people actually know that you won.
I could not possibly be more relieved. Lying to my children is not something that I would recommend or say that anyone should try to do, but it's something that we had to do for several months. And now that we were able to like enjoy that moment with them and see the looks on their faces when it was over, it was pretty special.
We never like had people over to watch the show because I just struggle watching myself on TV and then not knowing what things were going to be shown. I just didn't really watch it well. And so I was nervous about watching it in a big, huge, we were basically in a nightclub, and I was nervous about watching it with a lot of people, but it was actually felt more like a sporting event because the different teams, most of the cast was there, but the final four, like everybody brought their families. And so everybody had kind of a cheering section. So when one person would do really well, they'd start cheering. So it was really cool to be able to watch it with them. And I will say, we've said it before, I'll say it again, that we have come away with lifelong friends. And so even though, to see, other teams do well or struggle, like, it was great to be able to go give them a hug and go celebrate them. It was pretty cool to be able to watch it together.
So there was this giant field and you could feel the warmth of the sun. You could see like these people who you hadn't seen in about a month who were clapping for you at the finish line. You could see Phil. It felt very surreal. I let out a squeal that was like a Howard Dean register, very, very high pitched. The run to the finish line, it was like you're floating on air, right? Mm-hmm. All of this pain that you've had in your knees or your back or Kim, your wrists, the adrenaline just makes it all go away. And then we got up onto the mat, and it's like Kim said it, and she was telling the truth. Like until he said you were the winners, we were like waiting for him to penalize us or for something
like you
to
did
happen. Something
wrong.
Like I'm sure we screwed something up. And then when he said it, it was just like, the amount of relief is, I'm going to do a bad job describing it if I try. So I'm just going to say that it was indescribable.
It's very therapeutic for me to kind of I write. The act of writing, like pen to paper, is very therapeutic. So I took copious notes the entire time. And it occurred to me, like, I just thought there'd be some sort of visual challenge at the end just because of, just things that were being pointed out, so I just thought it'd be some sort of visual challenge. So I started drawing pictures, and I'm the worst artist.
No, you're not. You're a good artist. And so she's not giving herself enough credit, because show some of these things. It didn't need to look like a Van Gogh. What she did though, she
like this realized, this is like the booth operator or where we got our first clue in Trafalgar Square.
So the specifics though, like she remembered what the guys
had like a bowler hat,
because she was writing these things down after every leg. She had this giant notebook full of like details of what the lining was on the guy's jacket when we got to Altstadt, and like all this like really interesting stuff. And so it didn't need to, you don't need to be a professional artist, but she was smart enough because she'd watched the show enough times that she instinctively felt it was going to be a visual challenge. And so she put all of these specifics on the pictures, and we splayed them out on the hotel floor for 2 nights before we ran the final leg, and we quizzed each other because we really had nothing else to do. But it was like all of that preparation that allowed us to really motor through that last challenge. And I think it was 6 or 7 minutes. And that was it. That was the race. That's how we won. That's how we won $1 million.
We plan to give a big portion to Uncle Sam. And then, we are going to save a portion of it, put aside a portion of it to pay for our kids' college education. So that is going to change not just our lives, because we're not going to have that burden, because right now we are trying to actively save for, and that takes away from retirement savings, whatever. So that's a lifestyle change to have that taken care of. And then we have plans to share a portion of it as well, and which we'll talk about soon. But our lifestyle is not going to change a whole lot. We're going to get the dent fixed to my car, But other than that, it's already spent basically.
I backed into her car in our driveway going 1/10 of a mile an hour.
So
because I've been so freaking distracted by everything else going on. Like this was like ADHD has been rearing its head these last couple of weeks just to try to get to the finish line of the secret keeping part, that I've left my luggage in an airport and I've backed my car into my wife's car.
So we're going to get my car fixed and save for our kids' college and share and pay taxes. And then after that, there's not a whole lot left.
Yeah, college ain't cheap.
Yeah.
You know what? We also may, if we have a little bit left over from the million, we may spend some money to go back to those countries we've been to and just
bring our kids.
Like, we would run by these people at like dockside, like vineyard, like.
Well, no, we were in Lugano, especially, and everybody was, and we was like, there was a challenge. We were carrying all that wine, and we were passing just these like smartly dressed women, and they were just like sharing a bottle of wine and like eating off each other's plate. And I was like, I want to do that. I don't want to do this anymore. So I want to go back and be one of those women drinking wine in Lugano. Yeah. I would say that it was never lost on us that this was an incredible privilege. I think even if you're the team that goes home first, it is such a privilege to be chosen to be one of those teams. I mean, very few people ever get to do it. So that was never lost on us.
This was such a team win. And not just my wife, who was the MVP of our team, particularly in that final race, but the people who looked after our kids while we were gone, the people who kept our business running when we were gone. Because if you're an influencer, you can't just disappear for a month. The people who offered us emotional support and cheered us on and told us that it was okay to allow us to disappear off of the face of the earth twice for several weeks at a time. A lot of them were here with us last night, and we were able to thank them. And that to me, I know that we were the face on it, but it was a lot more than just us who got us to that finish line.